Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound, and while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra, just follow the sound please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand how this practice will help for us to develop our conventional life, and through that conventional development, how we can gain our spiritual success. So in Buddha's teaching, there is no way kind of like a neglecting your conventional life and go towards the spiritual path. It is very important always to understand the very basic fundamental qualities of this conventional world. And at the same time, you can't reject this conventional behavior. And practicing Dharma itself means you deeply understand it and go through it. So you develop a kind of like a wisdom knowledge to go through this conventional life without resisting it or without having any attachment, clinging, without any fixation, but experiencing it. And in that way, it's this moment by moment process will help you to become matured with the worldly experience. And when you're not attached with that, you deeply recognize how it come to be as it is. So this spiritual development means how we understand deeply our inner behavior. So when it comes to the world, this inside world and outside world connect by these organs with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So what you see through your eye, what you hear through your ears, what you smell through your nose, what you taste through your tongue, and what you feel through your body, and what you think through your mind create the world which you experience right now. There's nothing else. So basically, this physical elements, but still out of this physical element, the experience itself become invisible. So kind of like you have the tongue and maybe you see the sugar, but the taste invisible. And maybe you have the instrument, you have the ear, but whatever the sound you experience, invisible. So like that, this deeply that what we experience that happen in the kind of like a world which we can't see. But still, when that if you slow down your mind a little bit, you are capable to understand the very mechanism of the mind. So the meditation is a method that take you to understand deeply how this experience happen within yourself. Even though intellectually we understand things, even though practice point of view we have this conversation, when it comes to yourself, that experiencing it separately, it's different. Just imagine the most of time, we have no idea, we have the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, but these 6 objects, these organs, we kind of like feel this everything as one. And sometimes when we watch a movie, we see the pictures and the sound, and we kind of like think this both come together. But it's completely 2 different things. But it's mixed together, and because of that, we can't separate it. Another thing is that within ourselves, when any eye object come to your eye, this physical eye, and touch it, what happened? Naturally, eye consciousness arise. Any sound touch your ear, in that very moment, ear consciousness arise. That is a very natural process, normal process. For the tongue, when there is a smell come and touch the nose, then the nose consciousness arise. With your tongue, if any taste, any food, liquid touch the tongue, then what will happen? The tongue consciousness arise. And with the body, any sensation touch your body, then the body consciousness arise. This with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, this is a very natural process. And don't try to stop it. You can't stop it. Just important, you have to just understand it. There are this all 5 consciousness, keep the mind away, because these 4 things we can see, the 5 things, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, we can see physically, separate, we can recognize it. So when this eye consciousness arise, and what happened? It create that contact itself, create the feelings. So nothing wrong with the feelings, but that contact, when the contact happens, when the feelings arise, and out of that feelings, what happens? There is a cognitive behavior, it's called sanjanati. Passapaccha vedana, vedeti sanjanati. Sanjanati means that when the feelings arise, when the contacts happens, naturally, this body react to recognize it, to know it. It's a very natural process. And to recognize, to know it, what happens, you always bring your past experience. And when that past experience comes, sanjanati tang vitakketi. So the vitakka means that you start to think about it. You recognize. So when I object, contact the I consciousness arise. When the I consciousness arise, the feelings arise there. And out of that feelings, that you try to recognize it. So if there is no feelings, there is no recognition. To recognize it, what happens, to know it, what happened, vitakketi. So that means you bringing your past experience, comparison, regarding that moment of feelings to recognize it. So with the ear also the same. When the sound happens, when it touch your ear consciousness arise. With that ear consciousness, you get the feelings. So once the feelings arise, and out of that feelings, you try to recognize it. You try to know it. To know that, you start to think about it. So this happened very fast. And once the thought pattern developed to recognize it, once you start to put it to your memory and bring the experience to match it, what happened? There's a word called pajanati. So the pajanati means expansion of the moment of experience, differentiation, and the zooming more largely that moment of feelings and the recognition. And then when you zooming it, when you expand, when you develop that expansion, what happens? That moment of feelings start, you put it to past or maybe future. And also there are another three qualities always with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, moment of experience, most of time. That it's kind of like we'll keep it kind of like a 50% related to greed. That means tanha, and our personal view and the comparison. So in that way, always with the self-centered view, with the strong desire regarding it, and we try to compare that moment of feelings to put it to past or the future, and trying to recognize. So this is a pattern. Just imagine, with your eye it happens, with your ear it happens, with your nose it happens, with your tongue it happens, with your body it happens. So when these all five things come to, it's kind of like happen together, you believe there is a kind of like a continuation of experience. So that is another way we call the illusion. It's kind of like you start to feel even the feelings or the thoughts or the sensation is continually happens. There's something kind of like you take it as kind of like a very firm, solid moment of experience. So when you keep seeing things like a movie, so just imagine 90-minute movie. So then that each and every moment, there is no solid moment from beginning to end in that movie. All the movements, and it's separate, it cut to pieces, frame. But when it put together, match it. And what happened then later, when it run, so you keep watching and then you create a kind of like a very firm, solid experience inside you. There is something like this happens. So that is another way called the ignorance. So like even for a person, just imagine your husband, your wife, your children, friends, family members, partners, that you saw that person yesterday, and then after one day when you see that person, so it's kind of like you have very cognitive behavior to see that person the same. It's kind of like a same very firm, solid person from yesterday to today. But it's not like that. As you know, this head to toes, this entire body, each and every cell, electron, neutron, protons, that everything vibrating 24/7 and always changing. So even though it happened physically, that change happens, we can't see it. That we can't see it, not because we can't see the change that happened with that object. No, that within the moment of our experience, our consciousness change very fast. And then your eye consciousness arise with the ear eye object, and then right away what happened, it may go to your ear, nose, tongue, body, kind of like another consciousness. So because on the consciousness, your eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, this all cannot come together. If the eye consciousness arise, other all 5 things neutralize. When the ear consciousness arise, other all 5 things neutralize. Only one consciousness arise at one time. But in day-to-day life, we feel kind of like this everything with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. We feel that very firm, solid world around us. Why? Because this change happens inside us very fast. So you can do experiment. While you're listening to something you can't read, try it. Keep listening to something, give a full attention to listen, and then try to read something. And give fully attention to eat something, and at the same time try to watch something. And give the fully attention to watch something, and then try to write down something. You can't do it. So that means these two consciousness cannot merge together. Only one consciousness arises at one time. But what happens when the experience happens, we deeply take it as a very firm, solid moment of experience. And that is what called misunderstanding another way. And then we think there is such a thing like that. Conventionally, you can't argue about it with anybody because this cup, you see it, it's here. This is the same cup from last week to today. Look at, nothing changed here. But it is not the same cup. It already changed, and at the same time, forget about that change. This moment of experience within ourselves, this is changed more faster than this one. So, when you develop this introspection, you are capable to catch this change happen inside you. So that is why practicing meditation will help you to slow down the very behavior of mind. When your mind slows down, that is where you can slowly recognize this change happen inside you. And so in nowadays, what happens physically, mentally, we are so addicted to the work is okay, but deeply that kind of like we always build up this high vibration inside us. Always this physical current go high. Slow down. As a physical exercise, you can do like a walking meditation. Is one of the good exercise for that. And when you start to do cleaning or anything, if you little bit slow down and bring your attention and start to merge with that action, so that also help for you. And especially when it comes to meditation, always remember, your awareness, don't develop any kind of hyper desire to reach to something. Just have the contentment with your deeper inner consciousness rather than trying to experience something. I want to experience something. What is next? What is next? What is next? Don't have that kind of attitude inside you. So if you experience the inhalation, it doesn't matter. You don't jump to the next moment. You completely 100% surrender to that moment of inhalation. So if you experience the exhalation, in that very moment, you completely 100% settle down with that moment of experience. So it gives a kind of like a discipline to yourself to slow down. So slowing down that deeper, slowing down mind is the very key point here. Because when little by little, when you slow down, what happens? This reactive nature withdraw from you. You kind of like you are capable to absorb it. Let it be. You don't resist. You welcome. So when kind of like, just imagine, when you welcome, you are comfortable with it. There's nothing to do about it. But just try to resist. Then you have to take many different actions to resist anything inside you. So that's why when it comes to practice, whatever it is there, whatever you experience, let it be, welcome it. But you don't go with it, you absorb it. Any disturb come, you absorb it. You don't resist. If you try to resist, what will happen? Whatever that disturbance is going to become stronger. That's the very nature. If you try to divorce, if you try to withdraw from it, if you try to run away from it, it becomes stronger. Then the very next day, it becomes more strong. But now you absorb. So in that way, you become more and more stronger, deeply to absorb it. So and in that is where this you cut off this behavior to react to any kind of feelings or any kind of thought patterns, any kind of recognition. So in that very moment, what happens, this papancha doesn't happen. The papancha means it's kind of an expansion doesn't happen inside your mind. This means you don't put your thoughts or the feelings to the past or the future, and you don't bring your self-centered point of view to compare it to anything, and there is no desire. You don't use the desire, that any kind of moment of experience to enrich your desire. So that way your mind become more and more settled down rather than expansion. So conventional life, what happens? We always, from childhood to today, we expand our experience. That is the very nature of conventional life. But look where we go, what we gain. We, of course, with the outside world, we can reach to many success. In that expansion, now we are capable to examine the universe with the satellites. And maybe people talk about go into other kind of like planets and take the mineral from there and bring it here. And sometimes people talk about, scientists talk about go to other planets and maybe they have diamonds, the gold, or the oil, or kind of like nuclear powers, and bring it to the earth and make it very sustainable. Now people kind of like have many ways. They expand and this thinking power. So that is the very nature of this life. There is no end. How big it is. Your mind is bigger, same like this universe. So you can think, you can expand this your mind like this universe. And you can live with it, you can go with it, you can enjoy with it. But one thing you have to remember. So whatever you experience, nothing wrong with it. But you have to remember it is not firm, it is not solid. So don't have a kind of like a imagination or mirage or illusion believing this is solid. So once you have that understanding, you are capable to withdraw from it. So that's why in Buddhism, the very principle, so whatever the moment of experience, you don't make it a very firm, solid experience. You divide it to pieces. It's called Vibhajyavadi Patipada. Vibhajya means separate to pieces. See that when it comes to our moment of experience, deeply you can separate to eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. And even then the eye object or the eye consciousness, you can separate object, eye, and the contact consciousness arise. Ear, physical ear object, this come together, contact arise, and then you start to think about it. So like that, that what we experience moment by moment, you are capable to divide it, separate it. But mostly, every day, always, we take this experience as something, as one. And that is why this idea of self becomes stronger day by day, day by day. And when this idea of self, it always take you to the next level of development, the self. So practicing meditation will take you to a place to settle down and experience your form, feelings, perception, volition, recognition, and separate your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, consciousness. And once you experience in that very level of separation, naturally the detachment happens. So that means the clinging not going to happen. This fixation not going to happen. Because you know it all arises with the cause and conditions. It is a result of causation. And once you know that, there is no desire to clinging to anything, hold it to anything. And that is where you detach from things. And that is where you gain the freedom from the moment of experience. In that very moment, with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, with this outside world, when you contact with the object, when the feelings arise, in that very moment, you release from that feelings, rather than holding or the grasping and developing. It's a kind of like a very firm, solid frame out of that experience. Because if you develop that firm, solid frame, that is where the name and form arise. But now, even though experience happens deeply inside you, your awareness or your consciousness, your mind, not bound to it, not tangled to it. It is free from the moment of experience. And that freedom itself is kind of like the deeply inside you, you become empty. Because you don't hold it or you don't develop any firm, solid name or the form structure. So then you always, the experience happen in the conventional level, you go with this, you maintain it, you be with it, you respect it, you accept it, but still deeply within yourself, deeper in your inner consciousness, there's no such a thing like that. And when you have that, you become free from your own inner concept. You become free from your own inner thoughts. You become free from your own inner ideas. You become free from your own inner believing or the following system. And all this concept that you carry within yourself disappear. In that very moment, mind start to reach to a more higher level of frequency. another level of layer. And that is a different way of experience. So this is by practicing little by little, you have to achieve. The very key technique, remember, slow down. Separately observe inhalation, exhalation. And observe the beginning, the middle, and the end. And recognize the heaviness, soft, heat, motion, get the qualities. So that is where your mind become more sharp, clear. And that clarity is kind of like you can make it very narrow but sharp and go deeper. It's kind of like a laser beam. It's become more sharp and clear. And that is where you capable to separately recognize this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. If the Buddha never told about this, we don't know then we think this all together happens. So that's why Buddha is the one who separate, that go deeper into this and separately understood it and told us, hey, it is not a one thing. And even imagine, just can we understand this? Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness arise separately. If you try to think about it, your mind will go crazy. You can't think and understand about it. So that's why you need some kind of practice. So that's why you can do that exercise. While you're watching something, start to write down. You can't do that. Listening to something, start to watch. Listening 100% give the attention and try to tell at the same time something. You can't do it. So that, like that, by experience, you can little by little see this. And then when you go deeper with your practice, meditation, and that is where you get into the depth and see very clear pattern of this form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition, and arising, existing, and changing. Going to another something. Not later, not before. Each and everything arise in that very moment and disappear in that very moment. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck, head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So as I mentioned, when you observe inhalation, exhalation, slow down your mind and don't have any desire to jump towards anything. You don't wait for any experience. The best experience that you can have, your sensation and seeing the breathing. So do nothing extra. So deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. So when it happens through the sensation, recognize it. So bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Also by the power of this meritorious deed, May all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Imaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi. Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjissami. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.